Hello everybody, and Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and everything in between. I hope you are all having or have had a good Christmas, depending on when you decide to watch this one. Now, in today's episode, we are going to go back to the plains and carry on with our plains base. In the previous episode, or towards the end of the previous episode, we had started knocking down all of the Fulling camp buildings and clearing the area out so that we could turn it into our little plains base. Now, I've been thinking about it recently and have been thinking about how I want to go about building this base and what we're going to have with it. I keep calling it a base. It's not really going to be an actual base. I'm not going to build any buildings or anything like that. There isn't really going to be any crafting or anything like that. It's mainly just going to be a big walled off section of the plains that I turn most of the ground into fertile ground so that I can grow... we can grow... I've forgotten the names of them already. Barley and flax. There we go. And then we'll also have the portal in there as well. We'll probably have a couple of chests. It's pretty much just going to be more of a waypoint in the plains for us to pop to and bring stuff back from. And, you know, if we're gathering a whole bunch of black iron scrap metal... Black iron? No, not black iron, sorry, black metal scraps. That's the name, that's the term. When we pretty much just bring them all back to there. And then because it's quite close to the coast on the plains, we can easily carry things over to the boat and sail things back. But yeah, so today's episode we're going to go back there and finish off clearing out those buildings, building up the walls, and then we'll probably get the first of our barley and flax planted, and then we'll probably come back here, finish off smelting the iron and the black metal scraps that we do currently have, and then we'll start looking at maybe doing some upgrades as well. So yeah, let's head back to the plains, shall we? This is what we were doing last episode. We were basically just going around with our new black metal axe and just chopping down all of these different buildings. As I did mention then, you do get the materials back for these buildings, even though we can't build these ourselves, but you do get materials for them. Most of them you get wood, but for the roof there you can kind of see the roof is made out of some kind of hide. We do get deer hide and some leather scraps for these buildings as well, so it's quite good. And also I showcased my method of taking these buildings down quite quickly, which is you knock down all of the pieces of building that are connected to the ground, and then the actual building itself will just start falling down on its own. So you can start knocking it down, let it go on its own, and just go off and start the next building. Fortunately enough, we have done the majority of the heavy lifting when it comes to knocking stuff down. We just have to finish off these last few bits and pieces. But I do quite like it because it is another way for you to get deer hide later on in your playthrough, that you don't have to go back to the meadows and hunt for deer. You can just come to a Fulling camp, a cleared Fulling camp, and just start knocking some of these building downs with the deer hide roofs. Or roofs, how do you say it? We have moved our portal here. We have got a couple of basic chests, just as a quick storage area, and obviously the portal, this is where it's going to be. And then with the big section that we're going to wall off with the wooden stake walls, we are going to turn most of the ground into fertile ground for the flax and the barley that we have, so we can start growing those. A few of these smaller buildings to continue knocking down. Some dandelions. I didn't realise dandelions could grow in the plains. I'm guessing because it's fertile ground, maybe? Very strange. Okay, so we are going to get started on building up the walls. We have got a few different crafting tables kind of scattered around in different locations to kind of increase the size of the build area. It is quite annoying sometimes though, because it's difficult. You don't see the build area for all three of them at once. You only see the build area of the one that you're stood near, or the closest one that you're stood near. So if I was to step out of this circle here, another one would appear instead, which would be the crafting table that's right behind me. I don't plan on making this walled off section quite huge. I don't want to make it that big, because we will be here for a while building this wall, and it will take quite a bit of wood. But I do want to have it a decent size. A good enough size so that we can grow at least 50 each of barley and flax. That's the plan, or that's the idea. Obviously we will need to go back at some point and pick up our hoe, so that we can hoe the ground into fertile land, or farming land, or whatever it's called. I know it has a specific name. I think it's just fertile ground. There we go. It was slightly off the ground there, so it was green for its durability rather than its rather than blue. Stability, not durability. Sorry. Last thing I want is one of these wooden stake walls falling down if there's a fulling or some death skeetos nearby. There we go. This is going quite nicely. We might knock some of these down. These little kind of little towers that they build. I think they have like archers and stuff stood on there sometimes. Oh, we're out of wood already. That's not great. Yeah, that's quite good. That's quite a decent size. Don't have a huge amount of wood left. We're definitely going to need to get some more. So yeah, knocking those down in front of us might be a good idea. Just realised the music has been turned down. Sometimes when I play the game and I'm not recording for actual footage, I turn the music down because I'll have like a video on in the background or music, like my own music on in the background, but then I start recording and forget to turn it back up. So yeah, apologies that you might not be able to hear the music very well. There we go. We're out of wood, so let's take down these things. These are going to be a bit of a pain because they look like they have multiple small sections all touching the floor. Fortunately, they only take a few swings. And the downward swing with the axe should be quite quick. Yeah, there we go. There's a lot of stamina use for that downward swing. Although, to be honest, we are running low on food buffs. The timers are getting a bit low. That's probably the reason why we're our stamina bar is quite small. What food do we currently have? We've got top level food. Oh, hello. Go away. That was a good time on the swing. Damn, took him down pretty quick. Stabbed in the back by a death skeeto. There we go. Now the rest of it will fall down of its own accord. There, very nice. Don't know if we'll knock all of these down, because as you can tell it's taking us a while to knock all of them down. Might be more efficient or quicker for us to go and just knock a tree down instead. But we might as well clear some space out. But then again, leaving a couple of them up would be a good idea as well, because they're quite thematic. Make the area look like it's got little guard towers on the outside. Okay, that's the second one. Might as well start on this one. Apologies, I have a bit of a frog in my throat this morning. Again, with it being winter time or nearly winter time, cold weather does not work well with me. There we go. I think we'll leave that last one standing. Might even give us... This should be enough wood for us to finish off these wall sections as well. We obviously are going to want to build a gate on the front of the wall so that we can get in and out pretty easily. Oh, that looks like it's just off. If we turn it sideways, will it? Yeah, that looks like it might fit a bit better. There we go, perfect. There we go. There's our little walled off plains bit. Now we need to go back. We should repair up our things, and we're also going to go back and grab the hoe. Usually what I would do, or what I have done in previous playthroughs, is when I go and make a plains section like that, I usually wall off a bigger area, and then for stuff like the spinning wheel and the windmill and stuff like that, I usually build all of those pieces there. Like in the plains base, like in that walled off section, and then basically just do all of the growing and then the production on the growing. So sorry, production. What? I'm not even production. I mean, not the processing on the flax and the barley to turn it into linen thread and flour, and then bring it back to base. But I just kind of wanted to have those build pieces in this base this time. Kind of want to keep it all together so that you guys get a rough idea as to how much stuff you're going to have towards the end of a playthrough, or towards like a late stage in the game. Because as you can tell, we started off with one building in the first couple of biomes, and now we've grown up to pretty much a small village. We've got 3 different buildings. We've got buildings that specialise for certain things. We've got a crafting room. We've got we've got 2 crafting rooms. We've got a big farm/garden area. We've got the windmill at the back, the portal zone. We've got this comfort building here. We've got the area for the tame animals. So you do need quite a lot of space when it comes to base building. And I think it just looks quite nice having one base that's got everything in it, because then it looks quite populated. Looks like it's quite busy, instead of having multiple small little bases that you just keep zipping about to. You know, I don't want to spend most of the playthrough just staring at the portal screen whilst we're zooming around to every base. Obviously, it wouldn't be like that for the whole playthrough, but I don't know. I just think it looks better having one base with all your stuff in it, and then you just use the portals to just quickly travel places, and that's it. Anyway, grab the hoe. Still haven't done that. There we are. Okay. Apologies for all the background noise. Just had a cup of coffee, and because I have a pretty substantial moustache and beard, when you drink coffee, especially out of a cup, 50% of every sip ends up in your moustache. It just gets really annoying. Well, not 50%. Not with the way I drink it now, but it used to be like that. So, yeah. I just finished a cup of coffee there, and I had a few drips left in the beard, which were annoying me because it is obviously quite cold in here. So those drips of coffee turned cold quite quickly. Okay, let's finish cultivating this land. Let's get rid of these dandelions. Sorry, guys. Although I do know that they are going to regrow there, regardless of whether I take them down or leave them up. Right. Cultivated land, that's the name of it, not fertilised. It's pretty much the same thing. Fertile land that you can grow stuff on. That's pretty much the gist of what I was trying to get at there. Right. Now, with barley and flax, you can be a little less strict on how close you plant them together. I would still give them a bit of room in between each other, but because of the size of them, as you can see there, we're not just planting one seed that's having one little green shoot sticking up. It's a whole array of plants. And obviously they take up quite a bit more room than they usually do, than other vegetables do that you plant. You can be a bit less lax on the planting of them. Lax on the space that you put in between them, so you can fit more of them there. And obviously they will take up more space, so you can't plant as many in a line. And this is the flax plant that we're planting now. Now these are smaller. There are still several shoots, but they're just smaller in terms of size. I still put some space in between them, just in case. Now I have mentioned this before, but with barley and flax, you only get 2 plants or 2 harvests when you pick up a plant. So when it's fully grown and you come back to harvest it all, you only get 2 per one that you've planted, rather than with the seed plants from our garden back home, we would get 3 seeds. But the good thing is that you're kind of cutting out, you're halving the grow time, because you don't have to plant seeds to then get the vegetables, to then replant the vegetables and wait for those to grow into seed plants before you get more seeds. But obviously that's kind of the trade-off. So I would probably say that the grow time is about the same, roughly. Might be a bit quicker to do 3 seeds to 1 plant, but honestly it's quite good actually. But yeah, we're just going to have to leave those going, and every day or 2 we'll just pop back and have a look, see if they've grown, and replant them again. Now, with the current harvest that we've got, 25 of each of them have been planted, which means we should get 3, we should get 50 of each when they are fully grown, and then we'll go and replant those at some point. But we'll probably plant all 50 of each, and then we'll try and keep it on a rolling planting and harvesting system like that. So we'll plant 50, harvest 100, plant another 50, harvest 100, so that way we're getting 50 of each to use straight away. Flax will be the one we stop growing first, because flax we will eventually stop needing, or stop having a use for. Although I could be wrong about that, we might actually need it in the Mistlands. I haven't done much of the higher level Mistlands crafting, so linen might still be useful in the Mistlands, so we'll probably have to go back and regrow that at some point. Yeah, so it is going to be a while before we actually start harvesting enough flax in order to start making our gear, our armour set, so we're going to have to be a bit more on our toes when in the plains in future. Fortunately enough, we do have a full set of level 4 armour from silver stuff from the mountain, so we are pretty well protected. But I would still prefer to have the next level up. Right, now we are going to make porcupine. There we go, there's porcupine. So that is our next level of mace. Damage is going to be quite comparable to Frostner, but obviously it will have lost its like slow effect. One thing I do like about porcupine as well is that those spikes, they actually glow green, kind of the same as the Jorgafang bow does. So that you can kind of use it as a little light source when you've got it out. But as you can tell as well, when I had it out there and took a swing, it is pretty big. It's a pretty big mace. Oh, there's some more iron done. Perfect. Pretty much the rest of the iron we have now is going to be used for crafting our armour set. There isn't much else. We do actually have plenty, to be honest. We've got 58 of them, which should be enough to level us up as well. So to make the basic armour set we need 10 per piece, that's 30, and then the extra 28 that we've got spare, that should help us on the upgrade levels. And obviously we do have more iron as well. Now one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to convert these chests into the next chest up, so the reinforced chests, because they're too small. These ones are full now, and we've got more iron and more metal to smelt. So we're going to turn these chests into bigger ones. We're still going to have 2, because I want to keep crafting components and smelted bars separate from each other. So we're going to put all the bars and other things like obsidian and the serpent scale and stuff like that in this chest, and then in the next chest, in the left-hand chest, we're going to have all the crafting components and stuff. We're going to put 2 silver, there's some iron, and we'll have stuff like nails, the chains, the bits of wood, sharpening stone, the linen thread. That'll all go in this chest on the left. Now, I can't remember if I actually mentioned this back when we did it. Oh, we just put dandelions in there. Don't need to do that. But the sharpening stone is an item that you get from the plains, which it's usually found in the chests in fulling camps. Now, sharpening stone is used to make an upgrade for your, I believe it's the forge. I believe it's currently right next to our forge. And we've built that upgrade, and I think I just forgot to mention it at the time when we actually built it and put it there. I think it was just something we really quickly did. There you go, you can see it next to the anvil, just against the, it's just to the left of the doorway. I'm moving around quite quickly, so it's difficult to get a good view of it, but it's right next to our forge. It's a sharpening stone. It basically just upgrades your forge to another level. But yeah, that's pretty much the only use for the sharpening stone that I've seen so far. There might be an extra use for it at some point later on in the playthrough, like maybe in Mistlands or in Ashlands they'll give us another use for it, but it's not one that I've seen yet. Good morning. Right. Day 117? 118? Got our rested bonus. 21 minutes. It's still quite nice. We are going to get some new rested stuff to make soon. I know I kind of spoiled one of them in a previous episode, and I won't mention it until we actually decide to build it. But there's more stuff we need from the plains before we decide to do that. Okay, let's head back to Plains Base now that we've slept through the night. To be fair, our food buff is fine, it's been refreshed. There's our plants. Right, let's get our weapon and shield out. There you go, you can kind of see the little green glow coming from my back, that is porcupine. Oh, there's what we forgot to do. We forgot to put a gate in. We're going to have to get some wood to do that. I think for now we'll just leave it as a whole. And we'll probably go off and explore some of the plains for the rest of the episode. Might as well go and try and find some more things. Actually, we can get some wood from these. These only take a swing or two to cut down, and they give us a few bits of wood from them. We need 12 bits for one door. I think we should have 12 now. Oh, there's a rune stone. Good friend, lay your hand on this stone and remember Harold, who carved it. In Midgard I lost my wife on the battlefield, but in Valheim it was restored to me. Yet still my battle continued. Oh, he's talking about all the different bosses. I fought the Mother Dragon, or the Mother Drake. Now my last battle must be at hand. When I sleep this time, where will I wake? Well, that's pretty cool. It's almost like it's a carving left behind by another exiled Viking. Exiled? Have we been exiled, or have we've been sent here because we're a strong Viking? So maybe not an exile, maybe a chosen. We are Odin's chosen, and we are here to... Oh, there's Death Skeetos. We're here to defeat the bosses of Valheim. Die, Death Skeeto. I'm going to use your own stingers against you. Whack. There's a Lox down there. Let's take him out, because we could do with some more meat and some hide. Oof, there we go. We got that crit, or that sneak attack bonus. I think we might either be too far away, or there might not be a... Oh no, there is pathing. He's coming straight at us. Right, there we go. I thought he was a bit confused there. There we go. Fairly decent amount of damage. Right, let's showcase this porcupine. I'm going to parry that. Oh, we're still doing grey damage to it. He's still resisting our damage type, but it still hits pretty hard, I'm not going to lie. There we go. Lox down. Lox meat and Lox pelt. There is a Lox pelt cape that we could make. Don't know if I'm going to make it. I might do. The thing is that I quite prefer the wolf one. The armor difference isn't... I can't tell if... Actually, we're going to have to make one, actually. The Lox cape, I can't remember if that's the cape where it's actually a higher armor value, because there is... Most capes are all the same armor value. They're all 1 armor at level 1, and then you can level them up and they get an extra +1 armor for each level above that. So you can make a level 4 cape and have +4 armor. But I thought there was a cape, or I think there's a cape. I think it might be the Lox cape, or it might be the one after that from Mistlands that is... It's a higher armor value. It might be the Lox one, because the Lox do seem to have quite strong skin, so it would make sense that their capes are a bit tougher. We might make the Lox cape. I like the wolf one. It's just having that wolf head. It's quite thematic. It looks quite good. I suppose we could just interchange. If the Lox cape is the same armor value, we'll just interchange between the two, rather than worrying too much about which one gives us higher. Come on, stop circling. There we go. Hey, our blocking leveled up. Ah, there is a Lox. So we did shoot this one. I thought we missed. That did a fair chunk of damage, that arrow. That's the heavy attack. That did a truckload of damage. But you can only hit it once. Oh, I think we stunned it again. Oh wow, I've never seen that before. So there you go, with Porcupine it does enough damage so that if you hit your third swing on your parry bonus attacks, the third swing, it should be enough damage to trigger another stagger and another crit attack sequence that you can do on the lock, so you might even be able to take it out without it attacking you, if you're quite lucky. That was one thing I forgot to mention about the bite attack as well. The stomp attack is very similar, but I think the bite attack has a larger one, which is the amount of knockback it has. The bite attack has a ridiculous amount of knockback. So you do have to be quite careful when you parry the bite attack. Start running forward immediately, otherwise you'll miss your first swing of your combo. Okay, now we need to be careful whilst exploring, especially when we're climbing uphill, because the next thing we're looking for is tar pits. We are looking for tar pits, but tar pits come with an incredibly dangerous enemy if you don't know how to deal with them. And we'll cover them when we actually see one. I thought there would have been one up here actually. It's quite good that we haven't found one, but we kind of need the tar pits. And tar pits are a bit of a pain in the backside because you kind of need something from them, but they're not easy to. It's not easy to gather. Oh, I think that's one right in front of us there. I think we just looked at it whilst fighting this fulling. Come here, you. Oh, that was a lot of damage. I'm pretty sure that's a tar pit over there. It is. I'm pretty sure it is. Yes, yes it is. You can see the bones and stuff sticking out the floor. Right, so tar pits have a new version of ooze in them. So if you remember the blobs and the oozes from the swamp, you can see them kind of jumping about there. They're kind of a really black or a dark coloured version of them. They are... I can't remember what they're called. Tar oozes, I think. And that attack right there is the most dangerous part about them. What are you called? Growth. You're called a growth. So you come from the tar. Now the problem with that attack that they're using, you have to block it. You have to block that attack or dodge it. Now they'll probably wait about 5 to 10 seconds between each attack. They'll fire 4 globs at once. So if you dodge roll out of the way of one of those globs, or of one of those attacks, you should dodge all 4 of them. But the issue with them is if it hits you, it gives you... You can see my debuffs in the top right of my screen. I'm being poisoned by that attack, but I'm also getting another debuff called Tarred, which is massively reducing my movement speed. If you get ganged up on by 3 or 4 of these growths, or even more than that, you will most likely die. Because trying to avoid all of their attacks whilst dealing enough damage to actually take them out is very difficult. Tar are very annoying to take on. And to be fair, they fire more than 4 globs. It seems like they fire 6. There you go, I've been tarred again. Now, if you block the attack, you do get tarred, but you only get tarred for, I think, 1 second. And it wears off pretty much instantly. Whereas if you get hit by a normal tar attack, without blocking, I think it's a 6 or 7 second tar, which is quite bad, because then if there's 2 or 3 of them, they will just keep chaining attacks on you and keep tarring you and stuff like that. Now, growths are pretty quick to kill. If you've got a nice blunt weapon like the one we're currently using, you can take growths out nice and easily. But again, with multiple growths attacking you, it gets very difficult to actually close the gap between them, especially because they behave like blobs, so they keep jumping about the place. Sometimes they will jump over you. So it can be a bit of a pain in the backside. I would usually recommend doing what I'm doing now, which is using a bow to try and take a couple of them out from distance. Don't let them get close enough to you that they can start tar attacking, or if they do use the tar attack, just make sure you dodge roll out of the way. Because, yeah, it can be quite dangerous. I remember the first time I took on growths, I just chain died over and over again, trying to get my corpse back, because, yeah, I underestimated and didn't know how to deal with the tar attack. If you're using a shield, just keep that shield up when you're fighting them. It might take you a bit longer, you might have to soak a few attacks from them. There we go. Jumping inside this bubble has made everything go away. Yeah, you might have to soak a few attacks with your shield from them before you can actually get close enough to attack, but if you've got a nice blunt weapon like Frostner or what's it called? I can't remember what it's called. Porcupine, that's it. The current level mace that we're using. You'll be able to take the growths out nice and quick. It'll only be a couple of swings before they die. But yeah, that is the biggest problem. The good thing about them is that they seem to have this kind of like bluish misty effect constantly coming off of them, so you can kind of see them off in the distance there. We did drag about 4 or 5 of them away from the tar pit, and some of them are trying to make it back. Take it down, take it down, take it down. It's going to attack again. Okay, maybe it's not. There we go, tar. So we have a new material, Darkwood Gate. We can build shingle roof, which is this really nice kind of almost like a tiled roof. We've got Darkwood poles, which are kind of an extra build piece for increasing the range for your stability of your buildings. So that's pretty good. You've got Raven Adornment, Wolf Adornment, you've got Darkwood Dividers. Basically just a whole bunch of different building pieces. You've got a black metal chest, which is the next level up of chest. And there's the hot tub as well. The hot tub was something I mentioned, I think it was either last episode or the episode before. It was a mistake for me to mention it. I didn't mean to mention it back then, but we were talking about different fire sources. Now the hot tub is a comfort to build piece. It's quite expensive. You do need some tar and some wood and I believe some metal for it as well. But I would say it's definitely worth it. It is quite big. And you can place it inside or outside, but obviously because it's a comfort piece, we'll probably have to build it inside our comfort room to make sure that it's actually synergizing with the other comfort pieces in there to give us the maximum bonus available. Excuse me, to give us the maximum bonus available, which with the hot tub it should put us up to 16, because the hot tub gives a +2. And annoyingly with the hot tub, you kind of have to keep the heating element side of it as close to you as possible when you build it. So what you would normally do is you'd think to have the heating element side be on the wall facing away from you, but the problem is if you can't get to the back of that heating element part, obviously I'll showcase this to you all when we actually build the hot tub itself. But if you can't get to the back of that heating element, you can't put wood in it, which means you won't get the comfort bonus from it. You have to put wood into the heating element to obviously turn it into a proper hot tub. And yeah, it's a bit of a pain sometimes. The hot tub doesn't really do anything else other than just comfort. Yeah, you can use it as a thematic thing. I usually have a bit of a sit in them when I first build them, but it doesn't really do anything. It just makes you wet, and then gives you +2 on your comfort bonus for your room. Now, growths are one of the ways that you can get tar, but you do need quite a lot of tar if you plan on building a lot of the tar things. And one of the other things you might have seen for our build pieces is we've got a long table and a round table, which is the next level up for tables, which I think gives us an extra bonus, an extra comfort level as well. I'll have to double check that when we actually build one. That's if we have the space. I'm pretty sure the room we've got is big enough to fit them. Or to fit one of them, sorry. Now the other way you can get tar is, if you look in the middle of the tar pit there, you can see all those little kind of pieces in the tar. Now if you were to walk up to one of these and try and pick it up, you won't be able to. There you go, tar. It is stuck in the tar. So those bits in there you can pick up and it will give you a decent amount of tar from them. But the issue is they're in a pool of tar, which means you can't pick them up. In order to pick them up, you're gonna have to dig out a hole somewhere nearby the tar pit, on like a bit lower down from the tar pit. You're gonna have to dig quite a big hole. We're gonna start doing that now, and then you're gonna have to dig out a channel to kind of remove the tar pit, to remove the tar from the tar pit, so that you can actually access the lumps of tar in there and get access to them. And whilst you're doing this, you will also get tarred. As you can see, I'm tarred at the minute. You can see the kind of oil that's kind of splodging off my character, and it's slowing me down quite a bit. Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to have a lot of success doing this. Best way that I've noticed to do it is to dig quite a deep hole near the tar pit, like dig quite far down, increase the size of that hole, like make it a big channel, basically just going along in a line, or bigger, or as a square. It's up to you how you want to build it, and then dig through to the tar pit from there. And that should empty out most, if not all, of the tar. Now the issue you're going to have is that you could start drowning, or you can always say drowning, you could start swimming whilst in the tar, and you're going to be slowed because you're tarred. And yeah, so you need to be careful when doing it. Don't drown in tar is essentially what I'm trying to say, because you might... Oh, we just flung a whole bunch of oil there. Or a whole bunch of tar, sorry. You might end up being unable to get your gear back without having a pickaxe to remove the tar from your corpse, which will be the difficult part. Sorry, your gravestone. There you go, you can see we're kind of slowly removing some of the tar from the pit. Now, you will need quite a bit of tar. Honestly, it mostly depends on how much building, like how much of the building stuff you want to make with tar. That will determine how much you actually need to farm. You will need quite a bit if you want just the basics. Tar is used for some other stuff as well. I will try and showcase some of those bits to you. I recommend doing what I'm doing now. Just dig a deep hole like this. It will be a bit of a pain to get out of. We've fallen back in. And I don't think we have the food level on us in order to refresh most of our food buff, so we're going to have to let our stamina recharge. And then try and jump our way out of the pits. There we go. And then if we dig out this part here, it should start filtering some more of that tar through. Yes, it is. You can see it's just kind of made its way into the little hole that we've dug. Have we revealed any of the tar yet? I don't think we have. That's not good. Come on, there we go, there we go. We've got some more going. Oh, there we go, we're kind of stuck now, we're swimming. So yeah, best way to do it, dig a deep hole. I'd probably dig it right next to the tar pit and not what I'm doing right now. What I'm doing right now is not a fantastic way of doing it. It's pretty bad, I'm going to be honest. Sometimes you will be able to get access to the tar bits from here if you're stood right next to the tar pool. You might have removed enough of the tar from that pool in order to get access to some of the very edge pieces of tar that are in there. So we managed to get a couple there. But you have to be quick on picking them up as well, because if they kind of fly up in the air and then land in the tar again, you probably might not be able to pick them up. So again, you just have to be you have to be patient doing this. It is a bit of a time-consuming thing. It does take a bit of time to get it right. I think the way that I'm doing it now is probably the best way of doing it. Dig a really, really deep hole, extend the size of that hole, but dig it right next to the tar pit, and then just dig out the side here to kind of drain the pool into that hole. If anything, I'd say go deeper than what I've done here. There we go, you can see the tar levels are kind of normalising and kind of it's filling up that hole that I've dug, and it has revealed a whole boatload more tar for us to pick up. We're getting about 3 to 5 each, which is pretty good. We've picked up 21, so we should have maybe about 30 or so now. There's still a few pieces left in there. The other thing to be aware of with tar pits is that if you leave a pool of tar, even a small pool of tar like this one, the growths will still spawn from it. I think you have to pretty much completely empty out a tar pit completely, or I think you have to empty out completely and then pick up all of the pieces of tar in the middle there in order for the growth to stop spawning, I think. I'm not 100% sure on this, because usually what I do is I clear out a couple of tar pits early on in a Plains playthrough, and then I don't really have to go back to them. After you've cleared out a couple of tar pits from with these pieces of tar that you can pick up, you don't really have to get any more than that. Depending on how much you want to use the new build pieces, that is. The shingle roof looks really nice, I will say. It's this kind of like, it kind of looks like a tiled roof, but it's kind of this blackish tar colour. It looks quite nice, I'm going to be honest. We're probably going to use that to build the roof on our new pens for our boar and wolves. We might even look at converting our base to have it as well. Oops, excuse me. I'm very gassy this morning, apologies. But yeah, this is the other main material thing that we needed to farm from the plains. Tar is a bit of a pain to get as well. Now, hopefully that hole should be big enough for us to get some more tar pieces. There we go, it's emptying out again. Come on, a little bit more. Yeah, there we go. Some more tar, and then when you get closer to the centre of the pool, you'll notice you'll get these huge amounts, like these really big tar pieces that you can pick up. There we go, we've picked up 50 from those 3 or 4 that we just picked up there. Very lucrative. We now have 84 bits of tar, which is quite nice. We probably will take those back and start looking at what we can make with them now, actually, because it is getting close to night time, and I don't really want to be in the plains at night time. When you're in the plains at night time, you'll notice that roaming bands of fullings will spawn and start patrolling around the place. You can usually spot them because one of them or 2 of them will usually be holding a torch, so you can usually spot them. You can also hear them kind of giggling away to each other in that kind of goblin giggling voice that they do. But fortunately enough with the planes, they might change this in future, because I think the planes has been one of those that they haven't really developed much, or not developed much, sorry, but they haven't really added more to it since it came out, so they might change it. But the plains doesn't have any new creatures that spawn at night time, unlike, say, the swamp that has the wraith, or the mountain that has the werewolf, which we never actually saw, I don't think. I don't think we actually saw the werewolf on the mountain. It's the ulves, the creatures from the... Ooh, flax. They're starting to grow. Nice. They've got little flowers on top. Oh, an item prevents me from teleporting. Oh, it's the black metal scraps. Yeah, I should have realised I was holding some of those. There we go. So yeah, the plains doesn't have a different enemy that spawns at night time, fortunately. Or if it does, I've never seen it. And I have been in the plains quite a few times since they're starting to play Valheim, so I'd be surprised if we missed it. Or we just haven't seen any. But yeah, I don't want to get ganged up by a bunch of fullings. I also don't want to risk dying as well, so we'll just avoid being in the plains at night time. Okay, we have 10 bits of the Lock's hide. Just dumping all the bits we don't need. We'll drop the needles in here. We've got 7 needles, pretty good. Where is it? I want to have a quick look at the... That's deer hide. Linen cape. Oh, there's a new cape. Linen cape. And we can change the style of it. Lock's cape. There it is. No, the armor value is still 1. But we can make the Lock's cape, so we might as well. What else do we need? A bit of black metal, I think it was, or a bit of silver? I think it's a bit of silver. Well, to be fair, I might actually make both. Or should we just make the lock? Actually, no, I think we'll just make the Lock's cape for now. There we go. Lock's cape. That is our new cape. I do like the look of the Lock's cape. I just think in terms of themes or thematic use, there we go. Oh, actually, that looks pretty cool with the little like the kind of whitish grey furry kind of shoulder bit piece to it, and then you've got the big long flowing cape down your back. That looks pretty good, I'm going to be honest. But I do like the wolf one as well. The wolf does look pretty cool with it being the colour of wolf hide and then having the wolf head on it as well. It's a bit depressing for poor old wolves, but I still think it looks pretty good. Anyway, we are going to call the episode here, as we are getting pretty close to the end of the recording session. So, thank you everybody for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this one, and I hope you've all had a good Christmas and a good holiday, and we shall catch you in our next episode.